Hi guys, welcome to Amy's Cooking. I am so excited to share this recipe today with you. Honestly, nothing beats a batch of fresh bread right out from the oven. Now imagine brushing it with melted butter and garlic and sprinkling it with salt. Just heavenly. So let's join me and we'll be making some mouth-watering garlic breadsticks and garlic bread minis today. The ingredients are all-purpose flour, milk, sugar, room temperature egg, yeast, salt, garlic powder, and butter. Now let's begin by transferring everything to a mixing bowl. Add in the all-purpose flour followed by the salt. Give the two a pretty good mix before you add in the rest of the other ingredients. I always make it a habit to separate the salt from the yeast, that way we don't deactivate the yeast. Now make a small well in the middle and then begin pouring in the milk, the egg, butter, garlic powder, sugar, and the yeast. Using a dough hook, we'll be mixing it for a minute or two just so that everything comes together and it kind of attaches itself to the hook. And then at that point, we're going to increase the speed to number 4. And on number 4, we'll knead it for 10 minutes. Now this is going to be a relatively wet dough. At first you're going to see that it's pretty wet and sticky, but as you progress into the kneading process, you will see that it will start to come away from the wall of the bowl and it will not stick to the wall or the bottom of the bowl. And this should happen in about 10 minutes. So by the end of the 10 minutes, your dough should look relatively like this. Now if it doesn't, you add some more flour to it if it's a little too wet. If it doesn't quite have this consistency, then go ahead and knead it for a few minutes until you get something similar to this. Take a look at this dough. I just love how it feels. It should be very soft, smooth, and very silky. It's relatively wet, but it's not runny. And most importantly, it's very stretchy. So all these are characteristics of a well-kneaded dough. So make sure at the end of the 10 minutes yours look like this, and if it doesn't, then knead it for a few more minutes until you get it to this consistency. Now shape it into a ball and grease the working surface with oil or flour and begin rolling it into a sheet. We do not need to rest this dough just yet. It only needs to be proofed once, and that is after we shape it into small logs. Your dough sheet should reflect how thick and how long you want your breadsticks to be. I prefer my breadsticks to be about 7 to 8 inches long. The sheet is about a couple of centimeters thick. Now cover the sheet with plastic wraps with a straight edge using a pizza cutter. Make small cuts that are 2 to 3 inches wide, working from the bottom up and keeping the plastic wraps on top so that the dough doesn't dry out. Next, pinch the two edges together to form your breadsticks. Make sure it's tightly pinched. Then transfer it to a baking tray lined with wax paper and cover it with plastic wraps so that the dough doesn't dry. Repeat this step until all the pieces have been shaped. If you plan on making the garlic bread minis, then save 2 so that we can cut them into smaller pieces to make the minis. You will also notice that once all shaped, they don't all have the same length. So to make them more uniform, use the pizza cutter and trim about an inch or 2 off the 2 ends so that they all can be somewhat uniform. Also, you will notice that breadsticks usually have a rounded tip, so just pinch the tip of these breadsticks and once baked, it should come out rounded. We'll let it rest until it's double in size and then we're going to bake it at 350 degrees for 16 to 18 minutes. Now for the minis, these are the tips that we cut off and also the 2 pieces that we left from the sheet that we cut up as well. Let them rise until they're double in size and bake them the same way. While bread is baking, we can prepare the toppings. For the topping, we have butter, salt and sugar, garlic powder, Parmesan cheese, and dry cilantro. We want to melt the butter in the microwave for about 30 seconds, and then after that, we're going to combine all of the different ingredients together. Now, this is really up to your taste, so once you've added all of the different ingredients, just taste test it. It should be a little on the salty side because the bread is not very salty, so this will add a kick to the bread. But definitely it's just really up to your liking, so you can definitely taste test and add as much or as little as you like. Give it a quick mix and it's ready to be spread onto the bread. And here are the freshly baked bread. Let me tell you, there is nothing better than bread just right out from the oven. It smells so heavenly right now. At this point, all you've got to do is just brush the butter mixture right on top. You will also notice that I didn't let these bake until they're very browned. I want these bread to be fairly soft, and once you brush the butter over it, you will see that it becomes darker anyways. So just don't let it bake too long because you want these to stay soft for sure. So let's take a look and see how it is in the inside. Look how beautiful it looks, and the inside should be very soft. You can tell that these are soft just by the look of them. The bottom is nicely browned. It's very airy and fluffy in the inside. Just super delicious. Alright guys, so that's the garlic bread recipe. These are the breadsticks and also the minis. So with the minis, you do the same thing. Just brush it with the butter garlic mixture as well. And then after that, you want to toss it into a bowl, drizzle with some extra, and make sure everything is well coated and served. Alright, hope you guys enjoyed this video and this recipe, and if you do, please give me a thumbs up and also subscribe and hit the notification button so you'll be notified when I post my next video. Thank you for watching.